Hi, I'm Annabelle, and you are watching or listening to the Ace for Waves podcast with me. It's been a hot minute since I've done an episode, which I really am sorry about. Summertime is a busy time for me, and I've had other commitments that were on the top of my priority list. So that's why I've been holding back a little bit from putting out new content and doing some of podcasting stuff. Today is a very rare day off, so I thought I'd record something. I missed the entire month of June, so I hope to make up for a little bit of that in July with videos and content, but I can't make any promises. Today, however, is a main episode day where I talk about a specific piece I had planned, and truthfully, this isn't something that I really planned. I had it in the back of my mind for a few months now when I was first creating this podcast and stuff. It is something that I definitely wanted to talk about, but I didn't know how to fit it into like a main episode or like another special segment, but we're trying it out today. I am excited about the podcast content though, because I think it's something that doesn't get talked about much and it kind of gets overlooked by a lot of sports fans, but it truly deserves to have a share of the spotlight. We're talking about golf today, people. However, not just boring golf facts. I'm not going to bore you with golf statistics or golf trivia, even though I probably could, but I think that's boring for a lot of you. And my goal here is not to bore you. My goal here is just to talk about stuff and make it sound interesting and make it sound somewhat entertaining. I'm going to talk about some of the pro golfers on tour, how they kind of fit into the cycle of what is content and what is a job. And we're going to break down some assumptions and stereotypes that you might have about golf. Before kicking off the episode, however, I want to provide some background information about the golfers I am going to talk about. And I guess it's not really background information. I'm more so just going to tell you the names of the people I'm going to talk about. There are so many golfers right now, and if I could talk about all of them, I would, but that would be super long and probably once again super boring to the non-golf fan. I have five golfers I'm going to talk about today, and they are Scottie Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Joel Dahmen, Hideki Matsuyama, and Rory McIlroy. You probably recognize maybe one or two names from that list, and that's okay. I had trouble when I was first getting into golf, learning names, picking out who is who when golfers would wear the same clothes, etc. So you're not alone there, and we'll talk more about the golfers soon. One more quick thing. I just want to give a special shout out to the John Deere Classic going on right now in Illinois at TPC Deer Run. It's not very far from Iowa, and growing up as a Midwestern girl, I felt the need to give a quick shout out to that. I heard it's a good course. It's kind of like an easier course than some of the other courses on the PGA Tour, but a good course still nonetheless. And if anyone has been to the John Deere Classic before, let me know in the comments below and tell me all about it. I'd love to hear it. But starting off with our golfers, I told you the first golfer I was going to name, and that is Scottie Scheffler. I think many golf fans know this name, but Scottie is an American golfer born in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and played college golf at the University of Texas. He is a 12-time PGA Tour winner and a two-time Masters winner, having won the Masters again in April. Currently, he is ranked the world #1 golfer, which he has held for 90 weeks. Scottie made his PGA Tour debut in 2014 at the HB Byron Nelson Championship at 17 years old, which he made the cut at, and finished in 22nd place before being recruited to play college golf at the University of Texas, and he earned his PGA Tour card in 2020. When we talked about Scottie, right? Scottie has not been on the scene for as long as some of these other well-known golfers have been, but he has just been so consistent and so loved by the golf community over the years. It's hard not to root against him. Scottie has proven to be a man of the people. He speaks and talks very openly about his relationship with God. He has a healthy and maintaining a great relationship with his wife and his newborn son. He's doing everything by the book, as you can say, correct. And one thing about Scottie is that he is very consistent. He is more often than not a heavy favorite to win these golf tournaments, and not just because he's already a 12-time tour winner. You can say that, but it's just because of his consistency and his approach to the game. He rarely has bad shots, but when he does, he knows how to work the course and stay inside of his head, like mentally, and move on to the next hole. And that's a mentality that I think a lot of golfers need to be work on or get better at if they're not good at it already. Is you can't be hung up on one mistake or on a bad hole. If you are so caught up in those kind of like errors and mistakes and what went wrong, and you keep that headspace for the remainder of your holes that you have left to play, it does do some damage to the mind. And having to just put that aside very quickly can be a hard thing. And I think you can kind of see that with Scottie. He doesn't get hung up on bad shots, but if it's very clear that he knows how to brush it off and move to the next hole a lot more quickly than maybe some of these amateur golfers or even some of these veteran golfers. Every golfer has a bad hole or a bad shot. No one is perfect in the game of golf. And that's also something that we need to be kind of aware of, and breaking down that stereotype is that everyone everyone is good at a specific golf shot. That's not true. I've watched pro golfers be really good hitting their drivers off the tee, but their putting is not so great. I've seen golfers who are phenomenal with wedge shots, but are not phenomenal with iron shots, and vice versa. Like, I've seen golfers who are really accurate at putting, either from short distance or long distance, but they have a hard time getting distance off the tee if it's like par fours, par fives. No one is perfect, and no one, or I shouldn't say no one, but there are few golfers who we can classify as good in every single like golf shot category, which includes like driving off the tee, which includes chip shots, wedge shots, iron shots, bunker shots, putting, chip shots, etc. There's very few golfers who are good across the board, good in all of those categories. I would say Scottie could be put into that specific category when it comes to being good at hitting different shots. But once again, he's not perfect, and he knows that, which again kind of humanizes him and makes us relate to him as golfers and golf fans. You feel a connection with him, and he prioritizes his job well, right? He's not trying to play it up for the camera at all. He's not trying to be entertaining. He's not trying to be a show off. He's there to do his job, and he does his job with such ease, such poise, such character, that he will be around the PGA Tour for a long time, and he is a great representative for the tour that we have currently right now. So moving on from Scottie for a minute, I sang all the praise for him there, but golfer number 2 that I want to talk about is Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson is a live golfer, but played on the PGA Tour for 5 years before leaving for LIV. He was born in Modesto, California, and has the nickname The Scientist. For his analytical approach to the game, Bryson is a 9-time PGA Tour winner and a 2-time LIV Golf winner, whilst also being a 2-time major champion. He has won the U.S. Open twice, and most recently won back in June at Pinehurst No. 2. He is one of few LIV golfers to have multiple major wins. Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, and Brooks Koepka also joined that list, with Brooks having an impressive 5 major victories, and Phil Mickelson has 6 major wins. Bryson is, I think, a unique case for a lot of golf fans and a lot of golfers because of the backlash that he and other LIV players received when it was announced that there was going to be a Saudi Arabia funded tour that is known as LIV Golf, and a lot of golfers left the PGA Tour to go play for LIV. Bryson, again, is a phenomenal golfer. He did well on the PGA Tour. He has 9 PGA Tour wins, and he's also most recently found a little bit more success on the LIV Tour. But Bryson, in my mind, and what I've seen from his interviews, what I've seen from his golf game, is he has the charisma just like Scottie Scheffler. He could very well be a great spokesperson for LIV, the same could be applied to Scottie as well. Bryson carries himself with such a manner that you don't really see that often in any sport in my eyes. Bryson knows how to win. He has won major tournaments before, but he's also, again, just well loved by the golf community. He knows how to engage. He knows how to interact with fans. I know that there was a moment at the U.S. Open that he was caught kind of engaging with the fans and telling them about his next golf shot. He's a great entertainer, and he also has his own YouTube golf page where he uploads videos kind of playing golf, showing people like different golf shots, golf tricks, etc. And that's also a reason why I think makes Bryson stand out more is he's playing professional golf, right? Professional golf is his profession. He's out there to go compete and essentially win. But he also has this side job of being a YouTuber, where his job is to be entertaining, to provide content to the fans and to the viewers watching. And that could be a lot. But you would never guess that he has a YouTube job and a professional golf job at once. He, like I said before, he is very engaging and he is very well spoken. I have listened to some of his golf press conferences, and when he talks, you're just drawn in. He's not trying to play up his own ego. He's not trying to sound like the smartest person ever, but he speaks with such tone, he speaks in such a with such quality that you can't help but be drawn to his words. I think he's a very great speaker. He knows how to, again, keep his calm and keep his composure in hard times. And once again, just like with all these golfers, he is human, right? He's not perfect. He's not going to hit great golf shots all the time. Like his last round at the US Open, he was 1 over for that day, but he hit some terrible shots. But what I saw from him is that even though he had some bad shots, and even though he did make some bogeys and some critical par 4s, he made up for it by birdieing the next hole. He made up for his bad shot on 18 by making a birdie putt, or I think it was a birdie, either a birdie or a par putt to win his second major championship game. He knows how to come back from adversity. he's had to handle some of the heat and the backlash from leaving the PGA Tour to live. But I think he's a great golfer. I think he's a great person too. I know he's had some hard times as well, but he knows how to do his job, just like Scottie, and he also knows how to be an entertainer without letting those two worlds kind of clash and meet into one big thing. Moving on from Bryson, we talked about Scottie, we talked about Bryson. I think that those two are very similar golfers to the way that they kind of approach their game with how loved they are by the community. But this next golfer, I'm sure a lot of people don't know this name very well, but I put him on this list for a reason, and that name is Joel Dahmen. Joel Dahmen was born in Clarkston, Washington, and played a year of college golf at the University of Washington. He played on the PGA Tour Canada from 2010 to 2013 before earning his tour card for the 2016-2017 year, and he has one PGA Tour victory. The reason that I put Joel Dahmen on this list of golfers that I want to talk about is I think we saw a new side of Joel Dahmen when the second season of Full Swing dropped onto Netflix. Before that, Joel was kind of struggling. He was struggling on the PGA Tour Canada to get wins. He wasn't having much success there. In 2014, he moved to another tour, picked up some wins there, and then that earned him his tour card for the 2016-2017 PGA Tour year. He did win his first PGA Tour. He did win on the tour PGA Tour in 2021, and he was a runner-up at the Wells Fargo Championship in 2019. But when I watched Full Swing with my family, the first thing that I thought is people are going to know Joel Dahmen. And the reason people are going to know him is because he has this humor to him that just makes him, so funny and so easy, I think, to talk to. But Full Swing also kind of highlighted struggles with his mental health and his mentality to the game. He wasn't winning often on the PGA Tour. He was missing a lot of cuts at these tournaments, and most notably missing cuts at these major tournaments, which to pro golfers, winning a major tournament is a big deal considering all the history and the story behind it. Joel was struggling, and you saw those struggles in Full Swing. You heard the way that he was feeling. You heard how he wasn't really caring much anymore. You heard from like his caddies and people who know him very well that he had to get his life back on track if he wanted to find success on the golf course. And that to me just resonated with me because I kind of know what it feels like to have a lot of pressure and the weight of the world on your shoulders. Obviously, I'm not a golfer, but just in school and in life in general, pressure and expectations get to you. And that's what Joel Dahmen was feeling. But after watching his Full Swing episode, I took more of a liking to him because I think every golfer has experienced a Joel Dahmen moment before where you feel like your game is just going downhill. You feel like you can't keep finding the motivation to move on and go forward. But Joel did. Joel had a very heartfelt conversation with his caddy where he told his caddy, like, I'm going to get help and I'm going to be better. And that was a very sweet moment between the two of them caught on camera. And now, like this tour season right now, I think we're seeing the best version of Joel Dahmen. I think he just looks more confident. He looks a lot happier. I can't speak for him, obviously, but we get the sense that he might not be as happy and as impressed with his golf season so far, but he's making progress and he is improving. And that's what you want in the game of golf and in any sport in general. You want to improve from year after year to get better. But this is the best version that we've seen from Joel Dahmen in a long time. And I think that this version is going to continue to come out of him in years to come. And I have absolutely all the confidence in him that he will win on the PGA Tour again and soon. So enough. So we have Joel Dahmen, we had Bryson DeChambeau, we had Scottie Scheffler. One other thing that I forgot to mention about Joel very quickly is that Joel is there to, like these other golfers, he's there to do his job. And I think what separates him from a Bryson DeChambeau and a Scottie Scheffler is that being his job got in the way. I think being an entertainer and providing content for the people watching him got in the way of doing his job, right? When you have people who show up for you, who follow you throughout these different holes of these different golf tournaments and are there to see you do well, once again, that's a lot of pressure and that's a lot of expectation for somebody. And I think we saw that kind of get to him where he was so focused on being an entertainer for all these people that he forgot kind of what was more important to him, and that was just going out there and playing for yourself. But after that Full Swing episode aired, I think the talk with his caddy and the talk with other people, family, friends, and therapists kind of got him back onto the track of doing his job well, but also not heavily focusing too much on the entertainment value. I've just wanted to put that out there very quickly. But golfer number 4. The 3 previous golfers were all American, kind of. So I wanted to throw in some international golfers as well. And this golfer has completely changed the golf narrative for his home country. And that is Hideki Matsuyama. Hideki was born in Matsuyama, Aimi, Japan, and introduced to golf at the age of 4. He is a 9-time PGA Tour winner, 3-time European Tour winner, and was the first Japanese golfer to win a men's major championship, which he did at the 2021 Masters. His 9 PGA Tour wins makes him the most successful Japanese member of the PGA Tour in history. The reason I chose Hideki Matsuyama for this particular piece is that I think Hideki is a strong example of what is your job and what is entertainment and what is content. Because Hideki has like the mindset of going out there, just playing golf and then doing it all over again. He is almost always focused on doing his job and doing it well. And like you heard just right now, he's the most successful Japanese member of the PGA Tour. His 9 PGA Tour wins is very impressive. He was the first Japanese golfer to win a major championship, which is the Masters, which is very highly talked about, and getting the opportunity to put on that coveted green jacket is a big deal. He has changed the golf narrative for Japanese people, and he's done it again with a lot of poise, with a lot of character to him. Hideki's not much of a talker. You don't really see him engaging with fans in the media that often, but he is very well versatile. I think he is very dedicated to his craft, and he's been up on he's been on top of leaderboards in past tournaments before. He doesn't have the most impressive major record like some of these other golfers do. He only has 1 major win, But again, it's the entertainment versus the job value. Hideki is there to do his job at the end of the day, and that's it. You might argue that doing your job is boring, that golfers owe fans and the media some engagement, but it's just Hideki's personality and the way he rolls. And the fact of the matter is that he is not much of a entertainer. He's more there to play golf. He's there to do his job, and he's just there to have a good time essentially on the course. There's nothing wrong with being so focused and so dedicated to your craft that you kind of ignore all of the outside noise. Sometimes that's a better thing than not, when you can stay hyper focused, when you can stay in the mindset of, I'm here to play my 18 holes. If I can get through it, that's over with, and then I just do it all over again tomorrow. That's the vibe that I get from Hideki. But again, I think he's a very good golfer. He's won PGA, he's won on the PGA Tour before. He's not some unknown golfer from Japan. He's a successful Japanese golfer. I do think that this season has not lived up to some of his other seasons in terms of production and in terms of, overall finishes, but he will get there again. I think that we will see Hideki win more majors in the future, and the future is super bright for him. The last golfer I want to talk about, we talked about Hideki and how he is more of he's there more to do his job rather than to entertain. We talked about Joel and his kind of struggles with the last tour season. We talked about Bryson, how he does YouTube golf and does professional golf and keeps them so separate but so connected at the same time. And we also talked about Scottie and how he's just an overall good golfer and knows just how to kind of go with the flow and win. But this last golfer to talk about is a golfer that I know a lot of people are familiar with, and a lot of people, including my cousin, aren't a fan of, but I view it as saving the best for last. I can't go an entire episode without talking about golfers without mentioning my favorite golfer, and the one golfer who for years carried an insane amount of burden and pressure on his shoulders, and that, everybody, is Rory McIlroy. Rory is a Northern Irish golfer born in Hollywood, Northern Ireland, and turned pro in 2007. This man right here has an insane amount of accolades for a career spanning over 17 years. He is a 26-time PGA Tour winner, 17-time European Tour winner, 3-time FedEx Cup winner, the only golfer to have 3 FedEx Cup wins, and a 4-time major winner. The only major that he has not won is the Masters, and if he wins the Masters one day, he will complete the coveted Grand Slam, which is highly which is a high honor and is only awarded to golfers who win all 4 major championships. Roy would join like a elite circle of very few golfers who have gone on to complete their Grand Slams should he win Masters very soon. Rory is when we talked about Rory, right? I think that you kind of have to tread carefully. And that's not because I'm trying to offend or mock him, but it's also it's hard to talk about the details of his certain situation without sounding like totally biased and whatnot. But I wasn't I wasn't kidding when I said that this Rory carried an insane amount of burden and pressure on his shoulders for the last few years. When the whole PGA and Live golf scandal was going on, Rory was kind of anointed as the official spokesperson for the tour. And he had media, he had reporters, he had people asking him, what do you think about Live? If is Live going away? How are you dealing with golfers going to Live? Etc. etc. And all he heard was just Live golf questions. Very rarely did he get asked about his own golf game, how he was working to improve that, how he felt about some of these tournaments and some of his tour friends. You didn't get that. He wasn't asked those questions. And I think, again, in the full swing, which I know Rory was in most, if not all of them, that you saw what that did to him. You saw that his golf game was going down. He wasn't as successful. He wasn't having the numbers that he had had in previous seasons. And that all led back to the whole Live PGA kind of golf debate and golf scandal. He was essentially used as a puppet because people would listen to him and they would eat what he was saying. Rory's not one to kind of twist words. Rory's a very well-spoken person, but it was easy to kind of read in between the lines of what he was alluding to, what he wanted to say, and what he didn't say at the same time. I think Rory just is similar in the approach to Joel Dahmen, where being not necessarily being an entertainer got to him, but being the person who people looked up to, being the person who people would listen to, took a toll on him. I know that he stepped down from the PGA Tour board or he resigned or something to focus more on his golf game. And that takes guts. That takes courage to be able to kind of step down from something that you've been on for quite a long period of time. And he cited once again just focusing on personal and family matters. Rory is a phenomenal golfer. He has an insane amount of PGA Tour wins. He has an insane amount of European Tour wins. Again, he has 4 major victories, but there's a lot of pressure on him right now for being a veteran to win golf tournaments. He has 3 wins this tour season as of right now. I know Scottie has more than him. I think a few other golfers have more than 3, but there's so much pressure that is bestowed upon him, especially in major tournaments, to do well and to win. Rory's last major victory came in 2014, which was 10 years ago this year. There's one more major in July, and that is the Open Championship next week. If Rory doesn't win, we're continuing the 10-year major drought. And the sad part is, I guess not the sad part, but the reality is that these other golfers, both younger golfers, some more experienced golfers, are playing better than him. He might not be in a part of, GOAT golf status in the next 10, 15 years or so if some of these other young talents continue to come out and continue to dominate the golf world. Rory absolutely needs a win at the Open to not only redeem his 10-year major drought, to end that 10-year major drought, but it would do wonders, I think, to his self-confidence, to his game. I know that he experienced such devastating heartbreak at the US Open, bogeying 2 out of the last 4 holes on the course, where he blew a 2-stroke lead and got second place. He finished second place in 2023 at the US Open in solo second, finished solo second again in 2024 at the US Open. I know that there was a lot of criticism and a lot of kind of hate, if you can say, that he got for not and going to one of his press conferences after the golf tournament and going straight home. And I'm not going to say that what he did was right, but I also get it from his perspective. If you going to a press conference after bogeeing 2 out of your last 4 holes, which were easy, I don't want to say they were easy putts because once again, I'm not a golfer, but missing par putts that were makeable for him and losing in that realm and losing in that fashion, then going to have to answer questions about his golf game, why he missed those putts, what he did wrong, etc. No one wants to hear that right now. You saw his visible reaction to Bryson winning the US Open. You saw just the immediate devastation and the immediate heartbreak. And him leaving was, in my opinion, the best case scenario because you don't want to twist his words, right, in a press conference, but you also want to avoid saying something that you will regret later on. Could he have waited to congratulate Bryson at the 18th green and then left? Yes, he could have. Would that have been the more sportsmanlike approach and just overall sportsmanship in general? Yes. I'm not saying that what he did, just leaving right away, was the right thing to do. He definitely could have showed more sportsmanship in that area. But once again, I get it from his perspective because you don't want to say something that you will either later on regret, and you also don't want to sound super salty and take away from the winner and their accomplishments in a way. So that's all I have for you guys today. I know I said I was going to talk about kind of stereotypes and assumptions about golf, but I'm kind of running out of time here. Maybe that can be another video and I can provide you guys with some specific examples in that context, but this was fun. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about these golfers, kind of like their game, how they got to this point, etc. And if you are interested in learning more about golf, there's golf tournaments almost every single weekend. They usually begin on Thursday, they go till Sunday. Turn on the TV and watch just 5-10 minutes of a golf tournament. See what the people are saying. Hear what announcers are like commentating, etc. And I can guarantee that you might pick up on some golf terms, some golf knowledge, and it also kind of helps establish a better relationship and connection with the sport if you can see it or watch it firsthand. And with that, thank you for listening to the Ace for Waves podcast with me, Annabelle. I'm going to hope to put out some more episodes soon, but again, I can't make any promises. I just hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and we will be back. See you guys really soon.